I enjoy the Game Awards. It's often a great show. I enjoy what Geoff Keighley's trying to do for the games industry, and honestly, the orchestra is what keeps me coming back every year, ever since their rendition of the Animal Crossing New Horizons theme made me cry back in 2020. But I have to admit that the choices, both for nominees and for winners, often leave me scratching my head. Video games, like any art form, are subjective. You have your opinions, I have mine, and the people nominating things for the Game Awards clearly have theirs. For example, they seem to hold the opinion that the 12th biggest games publisher in the world can have a game nominated for Best Independent Game. But precisely because art is subjective, and because the Game Awards makes strange decisions basically every year, I think to culturally cede the title of Game of the Year to Keighley's list of games that had big marketing budgets is weak of us. Our opinions are just as valid as those of the nominating committee and the people who voted for the Game Awards. And that goes for you too. Your opinions are just as valid as mine. I mean, I don't really know enough about your opinion to say that, but the spirit of it is right. The only thing that can make a game the Game of the Year is whether or not you thought it was the best game you played that year. So today, here's my personal list of my favorite games from 2023. And you know what? This next one might be on Keighley's list too. 3 years ago, I talked about Spider-Man Miles Morales on this list. I told you how I loved its approachable size and its character writing. I told you how it was more of 2018's Spider-Man, and how that was more than enough to keep me interested. I also told you about this really great Gita Jackson review that criticized the game for amounting to propaganda during a year where Americans had loudly risen up against police violence. Spider-Man 2 feels like a mirror of that moment. These Spider-Man games continue to do the things that they do well. Spider-Man 2 told a story that I wanted to follow via characters that I enjoyed spending time with and playing as, and it did it with some of the best traversal and combat in video games, something the series is well known for. Hell, this game, just like its predecessors, made me eat my words and finish another icons on a map checklist adjacent open world game. Not even Horizon could do that. But maybe the most interesting thing this game did was listen. Peter Parker's joke of an alter ego Spider Cop, which he uses to annoy actual police officer Yuri Watanabe in the first game, is pronounced dead pretty early on. And beyond questionably funny gags, the story of Spider-Man 2 is not one of resisting direct action, or doing things, quote, the right way, but is instead a story of restorative justice, and rehabilitation of Spider-Man's many villains. And sure, you can occasionally feel the writers of the game go a bit over the top, trying to apologize for the unintended carceral narratives in previous entries. But the warmest moments of Spider-Man 2 are about forgiveness, hope, and building a community by investing in the people that are a part of it. Spider-Man 2 is the best-selling PlayStation Studios game of all time, so we're practically guaranteed a Spider-Man 3. I hope to see this team continue delivering what works, continue listening to its players, and think bigger about what a Spider-Man game and a Spider-Man story can be. That's exactly what they've done with Spider-Man 2. I first saw Cocoon on one of the Xbox event streams, and it looked neat. Carrying orbs on your back that you use to solve puzzles, jumping into those orbs into complete other worlds, jumping back out to place those worlds inside of other worlds. It was Patrick's Parabox, but built on spheres instead of squares. And I heard it was made by the people that made Limbo, which I also thought was cool. But Cocoon is so much more than that. I won't call Cocoon the best puzzle game I've ever played. Tunic still takes the cake for the single best puzzle in a video game. But I think it has the best puzzle progression that I've encountered in a long time. There's obviously wild things you can do by jumping in and out of different worlds and physically moving those worlds in the world that's up just one layer. It could get very confusing very quickly. But it doesn't. And it's not an easy game, but the game leads you very carefully from one puzzle to the next, building a vocabulary of what is possible in its worlds so that you're prepared when it does in fact take off. And boy does it. Other things I love about Cocoon. It's only 4 hours long, and you know I love a short game. It looks absolutely stunning, even if it's aesthetically kind of gross sometimes. And it sounds great, something I think a lot of games really underestimate. But again, puzzle design is really the thing here. I think that even if you don't love puzzle games, if you've got Game Pass, it's absolutely worth trying out Cocoon. I'm betting you'll be into it, and if not, you know what? That's okay. Cocoon really surprised me. I went from, oh, I'll try this, I guess, to finishing it in a single day, playing before work and on my lunch break and before dinner. It really got its teeth into me and pulled me to keep playing, and I'm so happy that I did. I'll be honest here. I mostly bought El Paso Elsewhere because I like Xalavier Nelson Jr. and what he's trying to do at Strange Scaffold. He and the other folks at Strange Scaffold make games that fit into that Sonic meme. Shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less. And I am not kidding, I was shocked when this game worked for me as well as it did. El Paso Elsewhere is basically an indie Max Payne game, with PS1 models and textures, but modern lighting. But Max Payne is not the only thing that this game references. The people who made this game love Remedy games in general. That's very clear. So many moments playing El Paso Elsewhere reminded me visually of Control. It's shot like a movie, and it loves to do that thing where there's some subject silhouetted by bright colored lights in the center of the screen. The gunplay here is weirdly better than that of much more modern seeming games, but I really loved the smooth but retro character movement and the bullet time. And I absolutely adore the music in this game. RJ Lake made both a score and a rap album for this game, and both are incredible. This game needle drops a rap track with absolutely wild moments that narratively deliver and sonically punch you in the face. This game is on Xbox and on Steam, and I really recommend that you check it out and support what Strange Scaffold are doing. It's clearly working. In the full video that I did on Cassette Beast earlier this year, I said that I thought that Cassette Beast's narrative didn't come together for me. I love this game, but despite loving the character writing, I found it difficult to understand what was being said by Cassette Beasts. Spoilers for the ending here, but what good is building a new society from scratch to fit the needs of that community and making deep connections with partners when you're just forced to leave all of that behind at the end? A viewer of that video shared this comment, saying that they thought that New Wirral, the world Cassette Beast characters find themselves in, was a fantasy. That it's a place that, despite everything, you cosmically must move on from to face reality. They pointed out that the endgame achievement is titled Real Life Awaits, and that makes a lot of sense. It's certainly a perspective I can imagine the game's creators having. The idea that this world exists, and it's okay to love and explore an idealized world, but reality awaits when we're done. Maybe it's a commentary on the stagnation of the Pokemon series. Maybe it's a political or cultural version of that message. But at this point, I believe it's something. In fact, when Jay Bayless, the writer of Cassette Beast, saw my video, he teased me a bit for missing what the game was trying to say. I still don't know if this is what he was pointing at, but the idea that Cassette Beast has an intended message at all is concrete, whether I understand or agree with it or not. And all that makes me enjoy it even more. Now listen, you might say, hey Matt, you can't include a demo for a game that's not even out yet on your Game of the Year list. And to that I'd say, it's my YouTube channel, I'm gonna do what I like. The Steam demo for Balatro, a poker-based roguelike deck builder, is my personal Game of the Year. That's just as wild to me as it might be to you. It's no secret that I tend to need an explanation for the media that I enjoy. Balatro, no exception. There's a full video on this channel breaking down exactly why just the demo of Balatro is so damn fun. Over-the-top visuals, broken and overpowered builds, the thrill of collectible card games, poker without any of the risk, it's a perfect setup. My only gripe is that I can't play it on my phone yet. I cannot wait to pay for the full game. I am so ready to throw my money at this developer. I'm simply thrilled about it. I think the only other game that I feel even remotely as good about this year is Cassette Beasts. I really wish that one of the bigger games that had come out this year had thrilled me this much. It would certainly head off a lot of the comments that you're about to leave calling me crazy. But if you're into deck builders, leave the comment. Then go play the Balatro demo and come back and talk to me then. Balatro is my Game of the Year. And hey, maybe it'll be next year's too.